and this is my week 4 assignment for FTH 212-51915. Today's date is April 14th, and this is for Dr. Elahi. In today's assignment, we're going to be stippling. We're going to be working on our practice stipple sheets, showing the lines, the patterns that we've drawn, as well as showing them roughed and then showing them stippled. We also have to stipple a firearm frame, either the frame of our dagger or a spare frame that we choose to use. I do have the proper PPE, personal protection equipment, glasses, as well as my respirators mask. I did add the border to one of the shapes already and started the sanding to prepare for the stippling. This is the shape that I already made, the little square border. I have a diamond shape, I have a little frame shape that I have to redraw, circular shape, triangular shape, an oval shape, curved shape, and just an open shape to do a raised border. Now I'm going to place the stipple pattern on this practice sheet, on the pattern that I carved out. This is going to be a random big dot pattern. This is the finished product of my large dot pattern with a recessed border. And I have to do some practice with that recessed border, but I'm the most satisfied with this one since I've been doing it. This is the best one I've done so far. These were my first 2 attempts. This is a pattern I want to try and get down, this dragon scale, snake skin style pattern. This was just something I was testing out, but the borders are not good at all on either one of these. But this border has me ready to feel comfortable to do this on my frame. I think I'm going to go with this same large dot pattern. This is the pattern I have drawn out for my PSA Dagger frame. I stripped the frame down, just have the slide lock spring in there. I'm going to connect the border to the borders that's already here. I'm going to do a frame reduction by removing the finger groove and also thinning the palm swells a little bit. I'm gonna try and keep the Palmetto State Armory logo. And I plan to do a random big dot pattern stipple design. I also plan to make a finger groove. I'm gonna do a little reduction here and remove some of the material on the sides here to make more of a thumb ledge and stipple that as well. I now have my borders, my recessed borders done along the pattern that I made, and I removed the finger groove, reduced some of the side, a little bit of the back hump, created a finger ledge, a thumb ledge that I'm going to stipple as well, and the finger. I actually added a little bit to the original undercut. Now I'm about to stipple my pattern. This is the final product of my dagger frame. Made a little oops right there. I'll clean that up later. But I'm pretty pleased with my recessed border. It's my first time getting it kind of right outside of the practice. This was my practice earlier. I thought I learned a little bit on how to really get the recessed border the right way, and that made me feel confident enough to go ahead and apply it here. And I like the way I kept the Palmetto State Armory logos. I was able to go around there, and this is actually a very grippy, like very grippy. I mean, wow, I'm really pleased with this. My process with the practice sheets as well as the frame itself I started out practicing. I was really trying to work on the borders, the recessed borders. Raised borders are not that difficult because you just go to the edge of your border, similar to this. You just go to the edge of the border. So this was the first attempt at the border, and that's how I was really trying to get. I wanted to test the dragon scale snake skin style here, but as you can see, that didn't come out well. Trying a different tip just to see what it looked like, but the border was terrible. Then I watched a few more tutorials. That's what I was really having my hardest part with, the recessed borders. With the random styles for stippling, you can kind of be free with what you do. You can kind of freestyle it. But that border, that recessed border, you really have to get that right. I had to watch a few tutorials, and then this was my third attempt at the recessed border. And this attempt was decent enough to where I understood what it was I was trying to do. So I felt confident enough to go on and take it to the actual dagger frame. First, I was going to use one of my P365 spare frames that I have. All I really wanted to do was get the recessed border, get a grip on that. And if I felt confident with my recessed border, I would have felt confident to do the design on the PSA Dagger. So I did go ahead and place my recessed border. I'm very pleased with my border. This is the best border I've done so far. And I know, and it's not perfectly clean, but I know I'll only get better in time. Had a little hiccup with the wood burner part, tapped it while I was holding it, but like I said, I'm really satisfied with my borders. And this is the random large dot style. I was able to keep the PSA logo, and this large dot style is very grippy. Oh yeah, I did put a double undercut. I took a little bit more from under here, the first undercut, and then I added a second undercut with stippling at the bottom. I removed the finger groove. As far as frame reduction, I removed the finger groove that was here, and I took a little off the sides and a little bit of the hump I smoothed out to give it a better feel in my hand. Can't wait to get this back together and shoot it, see how it feels actually being shot. But I am very satisfied with what I learned, and it took me a while to get the borders. I did not get the borders until I did this. I had to watch a few more tutorials, and I got a little bit of a better understanding, because what I was doing with my borders, I was just using the cutter. But then I watched a tutorial where he used one cutter at one size, another cutter that was a little bigger, and then a diamond head that was a little bigger, to continue making that channel a little bigger and bigger to start where you do the sanding. And like I said, once I got that and I was able to attempt it on the practice sheet, and I saw what I was doing, I followed their steps and I saw what I was doing. Now, even though this was small, I felt like by the size of this, it made it a little more difficult, and I thought it would be actually easier on the actual frame. As well as with this being totally flat, it was also a little more difficult with the border, and I knew it wouldn't be the same as working on the actual frame with the curves and everything like that. But again, this is my week 4 assignment for FTH 212-51915. Thank you.